YouTube, Brian Phillips here. We're doing this short clip to help introduce what you're about to see, which is a continuance on the PPG experience. I'm gonna talk for like 2 minutes, if I can do it, possibly, humanly. And we're gonna just let you guys watch some of the fails of my kiting practice. And kiting refers to when you put up the wing or the paraglider and you practice getting it in the air, launching it. I usually do reverse launches, bring it up, and then you can spin. And of course, then you would be going forward. So you'll see a couple of attempts where I get reverse launches and then I fail. And then you'll see several attempts where I try to launch and I can't even get it to launch. A lot of it has to do with the amount of wind. Also, you'll notice that the audio quality is terrible because we didn't mic up for most of these videos just because it's so complicated. There's so much crap going on. And it's just like right now, I'm just trying to take every opportunity. And you'll also note that it's from December through March that we're showing these videos. Was it April? It wasn't April. It was like at the very end of March, I had my 10th flight. I had 9 flights at training, the first of which I've already articulated. I was very scared and had some problems. And then I had 8 successful flights the next day right before I ended training and came home with my equipment. And I was training in Quincy, Illinois, so like 3.5 hour drive away. And just to get you guys up to speed, I have a contact here that's about a 20-minute drive from here. His name's Kevin Camp. And he also has a YouTube channel, so I'll give a shout out to Kevin. And he's been willing and able to help me because he's been doing it for a long time. And so I went over there and did my 10th flight. It was not rushed. We had hours to practice. We spent a lot of time. We kind of put all the helmet, everything but walkie-talkies, which we'll go into in a future video, which is coming anytime soon. So if you haven't seen it, stay tuned. I also review the pouch that I'll be using with the walkie-talkie, and the only thing I didn't have is a Bluetooth adapter, which is gonna then combine and connect up to my helmet. The helmet is currently being used with my cell phone, and that's how I communicated to the ground for safety. When you're training, you almost always wanna have somebody on the ground watching, helping you with clearances, things like where power lines are, where trees are, things that you're not wanting to have to worry about as a trainee. Okay, so really once you're in the air, you are flying. There is no help other than something that's in your ear and somebody that can see you that knows what's happening, and they can give you encouragement and different things. So anyway, my 10th flight, I came in and I forgot to slide out of the chair. And so I slid out of the chair onto the ground and sprained both ankles. So my right ankle was pretty bad. My left ankle was not bad at all. The only reason it was bad is because I was, having to bear the load right away for a few days. And it took about 3 days to where I was feeling like things were, gonna progress and get better. So anyway, I won't elaborate a lot on that right here, but I just wanna let you guys see the gap between December, let's call it 31st, because I went to training on the 27th to the 31st. And which is crazy because like who does that in the Midwest? Because it's usually like snowy and stuff. Well, we got some decent weather and I got very fortunate. And the trainers, thanks to Teresa Mixer and Mike Mixer for putting me into that situation where you could help me accommodate my crazy schedule as a YouTuber. And we really appreciate that. So a big shout out to flyppg.com, which is Discovery PPG's website. So if you guys are in the area, you're interested, remember, we don't tell you to go anywhere. We don't tell you to do anything in PPG, but we do encourage you, if you wanna see our progression, my progression all the way through this process, I encourage you to watch. There is a lot of information you can glean from it. You can watch me make a lot of mistakes. I am not attempting to replace training in any way. I couldn't believe how hard it was at first. And believe me, the training makes a huge difference. You really just need somebody to help you figure out this huge mess of lines and wires and cables and whatever you want to call them. They're risers, is what they're called. And it's the best way you can do that right now. I was told not to go over here because we have dirty dishes in the sink, is to get this Ppg Bible. This happens to be version 6, okay? If you're thinking about getting started, buy this. It's like $50. I mean, it seems a lot for a book, but the thing is they don't print a ton of them, I would imagine. It's very good, lots of high collar. Lots of good instruction, okay? I'm just telling you. I haven't even read the whole thing. I'm working through it. And I should have started here, but I didn't. I got started really quick. I spent about 6 months doing tons of search. I talked to 6 different instructors, and then we got the ball rolling. So anyway, getting back to the point, this video is gonna be the gap between December when we stopped kind of sharing and current of kiting practice. There were more kiting experiences that we did not film, but it was somewhat limited. We pretty much filmed a little bit of each of them. So we're gonna start with a little clip just to show you that I did have success, and we're gonna go to a dark clip where I show you putting on the gear. I never actually get the thing to inflate, you'll understand. Sometimes the wind just dies down, or you know, it gets to being dark, or it's too windy. And you have to be a good judge of whether or not you can carry on when you start the sport, because there are some dangers involved. And then we're gonna go into some daytime footage, which is where the initial clip comes from. And we'll show you the whole, kind of like clips of that whole experience, which would have been, what, like about 2 hours of kiting? Then we're gonna follow up, I think, with one additional clip. But either way, the idea is, I just didn't want you guys to have like no context of what's going on, because it's hard to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so we have one more video series that's coming out right now, or not video series, but it is a series of clips where we show how we transport our paramotor, which is through a 2-inch hitch receiver on a frame. And we're gonna go into that shortly. I don't know if they're gonna release all at once or if it's just gonna be released. And all you have to do is go to the playlist for PPG, and you'll be able to see all the stuff in one condensed area. Now, it's not gonna be a condensed video, but it is gonna be a video series that you'll be able to go back and watch from the very beginning to where I am. Now, hopefully you guys are going back and watching this and I found great success and nobody died and nobody got injured beyond a couple of small, you know, bumps and bruises, sprained ankles, things like that. That can all be avoided, by the way, with practice, flying in the right conditions. But at the end of the day, you ultimately have to actually do it. And part of actually doing it means that you are actually putting yourself at risk of injuries like sprained ankles, things like that. Sprained ankles, pretty minor. So I would say I was fortunate. And I learned a lot doing that, by the way. So everybody that's watching this and saying, that was avoidable. Yes, you're right, it was avoidable. But also, you know what else is avoidable? Totally doing this experience. If you're afraid of ever having the most minor injuries and things like that, just don't do this sport. There is a possibility you can get hurt. So anyway, PPG is a great place to start. You have to learn where your risk versus reward is, and where you're gonna put yourself on that spectrum. Some people are not willing to take the risks, not good sport for you. Some people are too crazy, not good sport for you, because you'll end up killing yourself. So somewhere in the middle, which is where most people fall, would be a great place. And I think that usually people liken PPG to about motorcycle danger. So anyway, there'll be some more elaboration at the end of our kiting, and hopefully this is helpful to you as you're considering it for yourself, or maybe you're kind of advancing through the ranks. Keep in mind, be nice. I'm learning. I don't say things right. And I pride myself in that when I get into my expertise areas, being able to communicate and articulate technical things in a way that's understandable, but also not completely boring. So hopefully you enjoy watching me struggle through this, because it is harder than I thought it was gonna be. I would have definitely been in the camp that like training is not necessary, you know, except you find out about 10 seconds into trying to do it, but it's totally required.
Yeah.
And even if you have a lot of aviation background and you have a lot of love and care and, you know, attention to detail and different things that you guys may not understand that I actually do, because you guys probably think, oh, I just can't believe he flies around power lines. Okay, fine. Yeah, I get it, with radio controlled airplanes. But at the end of the day, you guys don't see how big of a prudish safety prude I am. Off camera.
Yes. On
camera, we try to make a show that's worth watching, but you don't see me when I'm flying with my buddies and I'm like, hey, keep in front of us, just stay away from here, do this, don't go over the neighbor's house, don't do this, don't do that. And it's just like one laundry list of rules. Yeah. But the reality is very different than what you see and the perceptions you may have on YouTube. So we want to just come full circle and say, we hope you enjoy these clips. They may seem a little bit sort of garbled together. It's just the way it is. Yeah, it's
kind of choppy, especially here when it was like, it's nice, now, go.
Yeah, right. It's nice, there's snow on either side of the driveway, and I'm out there trying to kite. That's what you have to do. You have to be motivated to get out there every opportunity, because spring in Iowa, in our case this year especially, it's been like a hurricane for like a month.
Yep.
And you'll hear that from just about everybody else that's YouTubers out there doing footage for you guys. It's hard for us because we're trying to fly these airplanes. And we want to do that. We want to bring you new content, but we're going to be doing ground vehicles for a couple of minutes because it's like, there's just like no wind. The wind has been terrible. So we're going to get every opportunity, and every time that we see it, we're going to plug it and we're going to we're gonna get out there with airplanes and fly them as quick as we can, and just really enjoy that and help share that a little bit that we can share. But in the meantime, we're gonna get this stuff coming to you, and we appreciate you guys being part of our YouTube family. Obviously, the Patreons, thank you for being here to support us on a monthly basis. The PayPal support is really cool. That's those one-time gifts come in. And then obviously we feel like if you guys want to help support us, look in the video description below. We'll make sure when we do PPG related content, we're going to have a list that will occupy a couple of different spending choices. We are looking for a good affiliate for the 15-foot windsocks. We currently don't have an affiliate, but we do have a link for it. So when we find somebody that would be willing to share some commissions with us for sales, then we're gonna switch to that. But for now, you're welcome, whoever's actually getting money off of that. The way we fund our channel predominantly is for affiliate commissions from selling things like this. And this is things that you'd be buying and you're like, oh, well, you just want me to buy that so you can make them. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you guys know what the commission is to sell this? It might be like 10 cents. So I don't care about that. I care that you guys have a leg up in the hobby. And again, same thing with the airplanes, same thing with all the different stuff, the helmets and things like that. It's all about volume. If you're trying to do YouTube to make money, just stop. You're wasting your time. It's going to take you so long to get there, and they have set it up in such a way that it is almost impossible to make a living of it right now. So we are incredibly fortunate to be at a point where we're on the precipice of potentially making that happen. So anyway, these little things help so much, and we really appreciate you guys. Okay, camera crew's got an idea.
Well, I know people are going to ask about when they're going to actually see a PPG flight.
Oh, like a legit flight.
And we will do that, but with safety and being careful, and we just need to give you time to be comfortable before we add that layer.
It has to be safety first in PPG, and we are going to beat that drum. Every time we do a video, we're gonna refresh your memories, because this is not like radio controlled airplanes where I can go out there and just fly around and chum it up with the kids around and, you know, like, hey, look at that. He flew that 20-gram plane over his kid's face. Oh, they could have died. No, they wouldn't. This is different. You know, we have to take it seriously. And when you guys see me doing things that you would think maybe to be a little bit flippant in RC, just bear in mind that we're talking about a couple pounds of foam that is wrapped with little teeny bits of metal and carbon fiber and things like that. I mean, in worst case scenario, you fly into somebody's eyeball. And I'm saying like worst case scenario. Even then, you're probably not gonna die. You might get injured, and that would be a bummer. But we honestly are very careful people in real life. We are very cognizant of risks, and we do make calculated risks and decisions. But with PPG, we're doing our very best to be especially careful, because obviously we don't, like, Megan doesn't want me to get hurt, and I don't want to get hurt. So at the end of the day, the reason we keep plugging things like this is not because we want to make like 14 cents or whatever. I don't even know what the commission would be on something like this. But when you guys buy these things, every little bit helps. And the thing is, when we direct you to get something to help support us, we want it to be in the true vein of what we do. So we don't just like go out there and like make millions of links to random things. We do random things because random things are all part of this aviation lifestyle. And you're like, yeah, but didn't you do a video on a cat tree? Yes, we did. Didn't you do a video on an air chuck? Yes, we also did that. You remember the pressure gauge? Yeah. So anyway, there are the occasional outliers. We get it, but it's all kind of part of, you know, what interests me, what gets my, you know, engine running, and all the different things like trimming trees and things like that. We have a video coming with a telescopic chainsaw. We've done little electric chainsaws. These are all in furtherance of this lifestyle. And believe it or not, when you go out and you buy yourself, you know, a big piece of property, and you're going to like put your human flesh in the air and fly around it, trimming trees becomes part of your lifestyle, even if it wasn't before. So yes, we have reviewed chainsaws. Yes, we'll
probably do it again.
We'll do it again, I'm sure, at some point. We've reviewed weed whackers. We've reviewed hover shoes. That has nothing to do with PPG or flying radio controlled airplanes, but it was super fun. So yes, we do occasionally throw a curveball, and we appreciate you guys bearing with us as we do that. It's all in a day's work for the YouTuber. And I gotta say, we have been super blessed and honored to have such an awesome audience. And I mean like 99.99, probably 9% of the audience has been amazing. And then the other .0001. Is that what I left?
Something like that, I think.
Something like that. The rounding error, you know. We'll just block you because you're terrible people and you can go somewhere else. Which, believe me, if you're hearing me say that and you're in that exception, we want you God anyway. Because we have a great audience here. And the whole camaraderie that we have with our audience is awesome. And we really appreciate you guys and the way that you've helped to support us and get us to this level. If you have questions, and honestly, we don't say this often, but as you watch my videos of the flight process, and then, you know, Megan, of course, is dragged into this because she helps to film it. Megan, the camera crew, my wife, my wonderful wife of almost 18 years.
Almost.
Wow, we are old.
Yeah.
We just want to thank you guys because when you support us, you're supporting me and you're supporting her and you're supporting our 4 kids.
Yep.
We have a family of 6 here. And we know that you have questions. We will do our best to answer them. And we want to help give you good advice that's not biased toward, you know, buying this particular book or that particular plane. Of course, we want you to work with the affiliates to help support us too. But the thing is, like, really at the end of the day, we know you're here because you're either excited to see what's going on in our world, or you're like, man, that's really cool. Or that guy has really challenged me to get off of the couch, or, you know, or maybe you can't get out of the couch. Maybe you're in a wheelchair. There's literally people doing PPG that have 2 legs missing. And I mean, I'm serious. If you want to feel guilty about not getting off of your keister, watch that guy, which is just amazing. It's very cool. So I love being part of that small community of people that have worked really hard for something they love. So it's really cool. And we want to help be part of that fire under your seat. So hopefully these videos will help you. Forgive us for the bad audio quality in advance. There is definitely updates coming, and yes, a lot of you have asked. They are coming, and we will continue to bring them to you. Yep. But in terms of actually getting flight footage, that's going to follow, and it's going to follow when it works out. We are not going to rush it. We are not going to get me killed doing it. And we are going to do our very best to get you guys at least a snapshot along the way.
Yes.
So, anything else?
That was more than 2 minutes.
How long was it?
17.
Oh my goodness. That's as close as you get to 2 minutes on Blindfold.
2. I don't know why you said 2 at all.
2 minutes. I meant 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, beat my schedule.
Yep.
So anyway, guys, the first thing you want to do, if you're still curious and you need answers, I'm serious, unbiased, no BS, comes from a book like this. This is written by somebody like one of the founders of PPG. And it's very cool that you can get a book and actually have a lot of knowledge instilled on you. Go to the library and get it. If you don't want to support us with the 14 cents or 3 cents or 7 cents or whatever it is we get on this, the point is I want you guys to read it, understand it, and it will help guide your decision-making process, which is something that I didn't have. Even though I was reaching out to good help, I didn't have the book. And I wish I would have had the book.
I think your gut instinct, you're not a big fan of reading. So
I'm not, actually. And a lot of men aren't.
Yeah. And
we don't even like reading manuals about stuff that would be like super helpful.
Right.
Like the directions, and then we complain about not knowing how to
You
do
would
it.
way rather watch a YouTube video. And that was helpful, but this is different.
This is deeper. You have to read some stuff. You have to do a little bit of studying. You have to learn about airspaces, which is terrible. You do have to be prepared to do a little bit of legal information, you know, understanding the way that weather works and understanding the way that the legal system is set up to protect you with Part 103, because it is legal in North America to do this. I'm not speaking to anybody outside of the United States, by the way. You may need certificates in Canada. You may need certificates in South America or over New Zealand or Africa or wherever you're watching this video from. I have no idea in UK. There are different rules and regulations. You need to look into it. This is life or death for you. I don't want you guys getting yourself hurt. Make sure you're doing things above board when you're getting into real flight, because you know, flying a little airplane is a very different situation than flying yourself through the air. So anyway, we care about you guys. We want you to have the best experience possible, except for you 1%. You can just go hang out with somebody else. But when I say 1%, I mean the 0.0001%. We've been super lucky here on YouTube. Yep. So we appreciate you. Stay tuned. Here it comes, under 20 minutes, as promised.
Yep, that's good.
That's really, really good wind. team, it's Brad Phillips. Okay, so we obviously we've established that I did PPG training at the end of December of 2021. It's been a couple weeks, and I just wanted to show you just how quick and easy I can get this gear out. And it's kind of crazy how quick you can get it out. But I also have to get my harness, so I'm gonna go grab that and come right back. So I forgot my other bag has part of it in it, okay? So just plop it down, nothing too special. This all came with. And so the first thing is a helmet. Now we've got a little bit of light wind. You can see from the windsock out there. I'm gonna be making a helmet with comms so that I can communicate with other flyers. And this is just a, in fact, I think we need an extra large. I think we got a large, right?
No, I think that is the
that extra is the
large.
extra large? So
that's
anyway,
just like a BMX style, like.
So I put my harness in this thing, which is actually the bag for the parasail or the paraglider, which is also known as the wing. And so this is just a kiting harness. And so on our original unbox video, so there's our hook points where we hook in, okay? So it's actually been a little bit since I put this on because I've been putting on my paramotor. And so just so you guys can see how quick and easy you can get set up. And remember, I'm still fairly new at this. Oh, that doesn't actually go with it. I was like, that doesn't seem right. Oh, I got both sides the same side. This thing is actually used to hold the parachute together, or the wing.
Oh.
So you basically just run that up, and then I have it pulled all the way out so it's easy to clip. And you clip it like this, and then there's like 2 releases. So you have to hit both to release, like that, so it's load bearing. And I wouldn't even technically have to clip in for this. Kiting is a skill where you actually bring the parachute or this, the parasail up. I think I'm tangled. I got one tangle. Oh, actually we'll pause and check that real quick. Okay, so this is the part where I was like bunched up weird when I first got this. And see, I have a chest connection point too, but I'm not gonna connect that yet. And what I've had trouble with is being a bigger guy is this spot here. So what I found out was, as I'm a bigger guy, I can drop my shoulder off, let it down like this, and then look.
Oh.
I can pull that over, clip it on, and then throw this back through like I'm throwing a backpack up on my back. Then I just have to connect this. Now, when they're towing you in training, if you go to a place that has towing, and by the way, if you're gonna do this without training, just save yourself, you know, 15, 16,000 bucks and don't do it, because you're gonna end up killing yourself. I mean, I can't believe how much we got accomplished in 5 days. And you naturals are gonna get it done in 5 days and be very good. I barely got it done in 5 days. And I would say that the ordinary person is gonna have to do 5 days minimum, if not 7 to 10 days, depending on if you're a fast learner or if you're very highly motivated or if you have an extremely crazy schedule all the time. So these things go around your butt, but they're not supposed to be on your butt. When you're flying a real paramotor, it goes under and it's tied here to your thighs, and there's a paddle that becomes your seat. And so when you're running, you look like a goof because it's tied to your legs. It's not because I don't know how to run and lift my knees up. It's because you're literally fixed to each other. So this is just how quick this goes, okay? So we have the risers right here. And guys, I've been doing this for like 5 days of my life, so I'm not an expert. See this? Undo this, riser bag. There's stacks all over the place in this sport.
Wow.
Okay?
At least they're organized.
Yeah, well, sort of. And that's the thing, you're gonna think, oh my goodness, it's a huge tangly mess. It's just not though, that's the crazy part. And you don't wanna, you can actually fold this more like precisely if you want, but it's actually harder on the fabric and everything. Never put it away wet, okay? So like if I get in the snow really bad or in the mud, we'll leave it out so it can be draped out in the garage. And you see these little rib things that they make the bulkheads? You don't want to break those things, but that's what I'm always afraid I'm going to break. And that opens the mouth up so that the air can go in it. Okay, and then there's a tag, talks about the size, the ratings, 31 meters squared. That's the size for me because I'm a big guy. If you're a normal sized person, you know, say you're like 185 pounds. It's hard on it to do that, by the way. So usually you grab your risers and you walk it out. And like in this case, we put a Velcro just like what we use on our lipos, okay? And then this strap, see how it's terminated over here? It comes off like that, you stick it in your pocket, okay? Then these things are Kevlar. They're not strings. They're like Kevlar, like what they make helmets out of that stop bullets, and vests that stop bullets. That's what it's made out of. So it's crazy. So now what you do is you walk this out, and I'm gonna drag this, which is not good. It's hard on the thing. But then all you gotta do is take the risers. They're stuck together like this. You just stick them together is what we did in training. And then you can get things separated out, okay? And then just from thinking back, if I was doing a reverse launch, then I would have to grab these together and then flip them over and then basically hook in. So this has a release down here. And I actually like this system better than the releases on my paramotor because they spin and drop and spin over. It's just like the most complicated thing ever. So then we have to check to see if we're over draped anything here. So these are the A's, so that's actually going to control the wing. And so they need to be going up. You see we're twisted, so I clipped in prematurely. I got a twist in there. You see what I'm talking about there? Mm-hmm. See how the red goes under and then back over?
Yeah.
That's correct, because we flipped it over, remember? So this is the hardest part when you're first starting, is figuring out where all this crap is supposed to go. And then suppose this was all perfect. You would take these A's, that controls like a bridle the front edge of the wing. This controls like a bridle the front edge of the wing, but you're like, you're draped over the top, Brian, what the heck? Well, then you do this, and then when you're ready to launch that thing, you can also grab, these in my case are D's, but then these, you can deflate the wing with this. This is my C, so it goes A, B, C, D, okay? And then this is the brake. So ordinarily, at this point, it looks like my brake popped off or my brake is up here in a weird spot. Ordinarily, you would get the brakes off. You would get the brakes off. And this is where it gets confusing because they teach you how to do this in training and then you forget. So like that's what I'm going to be holding in the air. So you need that to be presented to you in the right position once you're up in the air. But you need it to be under when you're launching. So it gets confusing, and especially for somebody like me that can't keep right and left straight. So I'm gonna put those back on the magnets. They got a real strong neodymium magnet there. There's another point there, and that was one of the things I had wrong on my solo flight that got me so scared, is I had a hard time finding that spot. So you gotta try to build up that muscle memory and make it so that it's almost like a second nature thing for you, okay? So now normally, when you do this, you wouldn't be doing it in the dark, but you don't even have to keep them separate. But you see, they won't tangle up, and it looks like I'm just making a tangly-dangly mess, but I'm really not. So, again, to unclip, I push, and then it opens up, and I slide this off, and I lay it with that out, with the brake out. And then I take this, and I lay it with the brake out. And there's slack. Now I can take the wing and spread it out. And of course, if you're not sitting here trying to demonstrate stuff, it goes a lot quicker. And like, let's say it got really windy right now, you wouldn't want to do this if it's like, you know, super windy, but we're probably in perfect forward launch conditions, but we're certainly not legal to fly right now because we're past half an hour past dark or past twilight, okay? So you want to set this thing up in your, you know, the shape of the wing. This is, you need to center yourself under it, so just work it out. Give yourself a good chance at success when you go to inflate the wing. See this? There we go. So if it gets to going away on you, if it gets to blowing away on you, you can grab one of these and hold on to it, and it'll just snake out into the wind, and then it won't have any inflation. So it de-energizes the wing, it depowers the wing. Okay, so now I can grab these things. They technically could be ready, but I haven't checked. Okay, so I'm just gonna let them hang down. You see all those tangled lines?
Yeah.
They're actually not tangled, okay? We call that an overdrape.
So look, see these two? See how those look like they're tangled? They're actually not really tangled. I just got to get those over the top a little bit. They might be tangled. It's kind of hard to tell, but you don't want to start with all those things on top of there, and it just looks like a complete mess to the untrained eye. And I'm barely trained, folks. But you see what I'm doing? I think I might be twisted one time. So I'm going to go over like this one time and try it. And sometimes you have to kind of lay that down and then walk it out like this. You see all that tangly dangly mess? All you have to do is get it to a straight point and it'll go right where it needs to go. And then sometimes you got to get a little bit more sophisticated with it. But you see, and it's not impossible that they get tangled, but it's pretty uncommon. It's not impossible, but it's uncommon to tangle these. And the way they get tangled is when you don't put them in a riser bag or something and they just get thrown in. That's be the worst thing you could do. So, see this? So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of pulling them, kind of one at a time almost. And you want to kind of slack it a little bit. And then you could just grab this red and just walk forward. You see how it's kind of giving me more information as I go. And as I go a little bit further and further, no, just leave it. Don't even try to fight it. Okay. You don't fight the wing. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. That is nothing. You should have seen during training. Oh, I'm sure. That thing was moving around constantly. And yes, I was hooked in, and yes, I got pulled a few times. It's very scary. So you need to learn to depower your wing quick. And that's something that they do, they go over, but it's just like when you're getting pulled on the ground, you're only so strong. So it's like one of the scary functions of this whole sport. And by the way, you can get hurt kiting. See how everything's just kind of falling down? See how it's all falling down? On mine, the blue ones are longer. So they always seem to fight me the most. Now there's another trick you can do where I'm not even hooked in, okay? And I haven't even looked at this one. It looks like I'm draped. So you see how it's got an obvious point there? Looks like that one's draped, maybe twice. Kind of hard to tell though. So I'll work on this one for a minute. And you only really have to do this once, and then once you're up in the air, you're pretty much done. It looks like I'm draped. That we might want to grab. So if you pause and grab that blue bag. Okay, so this here is pretty bad. So I'm not sure if I've got it tangled one way or the other, or a little bit of both. But sometimes the easiest thing to do is to just kind of take the risers and walk them out this way. So I'm going to take kind of like 3 different spots on my hands, and I'm just going to like separate them like this, okay? And then that's going to give me a little bit better control of what's going on. And I'm just going to try to separate them like this, because there's not really like a perfect way to do this, but there is a lot of easier ways to do it. Once you're untangled, then you're way better. And when I say untangled, I think I'm still just draped. But look at this, back here. Then there's another thing you got to watch out for called a cravat. Oh, see? Yep, I'm tangled. I need to go over and to the out. I need to go out. So we hang it, and then we flip it over. And I probably did that a little bit too aggressively, and that's probably part of the reason why it's draping so bad. So you see this? I can just kind of pull that. You see how it dropped down now? Mm-hmm. So I pull it, and just like it finds the spot where it wants to fall. Okay, and then like this, see how that fell? See, now we're close. And then once you get it all done, it's harder in the dark, I must say. The red lines disappear. Mm-hmm. So watch this. That's gonna be super satisfying when that all falls into place. But it's acting like there's a tangle here or something. See this right there? There is a bit of a, what looks like a tangle, but it ain't a tangle. Because unless you unhooked it, it's not a tangle. See this? Now watch. Now you need to stay back there so you're safe. Okay. And the wind is coming from that direction toward us. In this way, in this way, in this way, in this way. So we've set up the wing in a way that we can get it inflated and catch the wind. Okay? But it's very important that you don't get pulled in. See, look. Now my A's are free, and watch what happens to the A's. See how it pulls the leading edge up? That's how you control this thing, like a bridle on a horse. So it's really cool. And the most skilled kiting are the most skilled paragliders. They're the most skilled in the basic principles of flight, and they are great. They can do some crazy stuff. And it looks like I probably just tangled, but I didn't. I guarantee it's not tangled. So you see this one here? Now I'm gonna do kind of the same thing and just get this untangled, okay? See, just over draping. This one's really bad over draped. Okay. And there's another trick you can do, which I wanna show you here in a minute. It's called walling the kite, or walling the wing. And that's where you turn this whole thing into a wall, but it's also a dangerous spot for you because it's got a lot of power at that spot, okay? So remember, this isn't braced. If the wind would pick up, it's gonna either blow into the house and get tangled up, or it's gonna blow out there and get tangled up. It's just gonna go wherever it gets de-energized, and then that's where it's gonna be. And this goes without saying, but in the dark, everything is harder. That's why we do everything in the dark, right?
Right.
Okay, so I have to imagine that this has one tangle on it. And I could be wrong. This one I've got. And this is the sort of thing that during training too, your trainer will help you get things like this sorted out, and it makes your time so much more efficient, so you can do way more stuff. Now, I'm not sure I'm even gonna clip in the right way. I'm just gonna clip in reverse, like actually backward. And okay, so I've got those clipped in. Yeah. I had a change of heart, folks. So what I'm gonna do is wall this. So I'm gonna take and flip this over. So put it like this, flip it over. Except I did that wrong. Ooh, look. Can you see if you can help me with that one there, camera crew, first? See that bundle? Pull it toward me, or toward, yeah, just try coming toward me. Just kind of run your hand along it. Now pull it toward me a little bit. Okay, now I'll pull it back toward the wing. I'd really like that spot to get untangled.
I know, those blue ones are crazy.
It looks like, hold on, hon. I know what to do now.
Okay.
Okay. Now try it one more time. Just want to make sure. So the reason we show you me struggling through this is because when you watch a video from some of the, you know, more popular folks like, you know, Tucker Gott and the like, they never show you untangling these things. They just have it done magically. And, you know, the reality is there's quite a bit that goes into this that is not related at all to flying. And it's one of the skills that I had no idea I was gonna have to develop to do this. And as you can see, the skills are not very well developed. Okay?
Big chunks that just drop down, but not enough.
Okay, so now I can take, I'm gonna take my A's and my D's, or my A's and my C's in this case, and I'm just gonna try to wall this thing, so you need to be back. Okay, so I'm gonna control it. I'm not even clipped in, okay? And then I can depower it just like that. See? That was me doing that. That was not the Mother Nature. And then watch this. So I gotta step toward the high side, or step toward the high side. That keeps me centered. So then it pulls tight on the lines that aren't pulling tight. Okay, so now, because it's juicy over here, we're gonna pause and we'll pull this thing back so it's on the concrete. Okay, so for what it's worth, I'm gonna try to launch this with the reverse launch. There's light wind at my back, so when I pull on this, it's gonna launch. But I can tell I didn't quite get this right. There's a tangle in this line. So I'm trying to fix that quick. And I don't know if I did it wrong or if it just got tangled. So this is the problem of being a beginner, is there is a lot of things you gotta know and get right. See that tangle? Mm-hmm. So I gotta flip that. Nope. See, I'm gonna be turning around and that'll be right. Okay, so here we go. So this goes over that. And then I have both A's in my hand. All right, here we go. And then you can depower it. But what we saw there was I didn't have enough wind to help me on the inflation. So when you inflate with low wind, you usually run into it going forward. So like if I was launching with a paramotor on, I'd be launching that way. But of course, I'm not gonna do that because power lines are there and it's dark. But the thing is, I would be able to launch into the wind. But also I'm trying to stay on the concrete because it's a little bit wet since we just had a big thaw out today. We're gonna have another snowstorm tomorrow. But excuse me, but you guys get the idea. It's very cool. I wanna get it in the air, so we're gonna pause and then we'll come right back when we do. Okay, so now I have the A's and the C's. So the C's are gonna deflate the wing if I want to. Walk to where the high side is. There you go. There it is, folks. She's up in the air. And you gotta keep flying it. Look at that. That is so freaking cool. Look at that. And then if I wanna turn, there it is, folks. In the dark, folks. That is so cool, isn't it?
That was cool.
And it's like, you have to walk to keep the wing flying, but it's like when you're new, there's so many different moving parts on the ground, nothing is pulled tight. So it's like, it's just like getting old. Nothing is where it should be. Some people have a stronger conviction in that truth. So then, watch this, watch this. This is how you recover it, Goose. So the grass is dry out here, dry enough. But you see, all I'm doing is just taking this all as a bundle. And you're like, Brian, that is gonna be the biggest tangle. Just wait, folks. So check this out. Oh, that looks like a big mess because it kind of is now. Because I let go of one spot where I didn't mean to. Okay. So you get it into this like weird pedal thing. And look at that. You can walk around with it.
That's pretty crazy.
Then you drag it over your juicy wet spot. Get it back to the driveway and try again. Excuse me, guys. So then, are you filming still?
Yeah.
I want them to see just how much easier it is now that we've got it set up. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, watch this. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. It's like, that has to be a tangly dangly mess. No, it doesn't. It's all attached, guys. Ideally, you would clear your lines, your A's, okay? But check this out. Grab your brakes so you have some level of control. Grab your A's, flip this thing over that thing. This is why training is helpful / necessary. Because like, there's no way you're gonna figure this out on your own.
No.
I don't care if you get the Ppg Bible, that's not enough. I mean, I have the Ppg Bible and it's not enough. So, I've been through training, I'm still learning. Okay, so watch this. I'm gonna try to wall this, but the wind is light. Okay, and I'm reverse launching in the dark. See, that's hard on your wing too. So then you swallow your pride. You stick your brakes back on your magnets, if you can find them, because they do appear to be tangled a little bit, which is annoying. And then you do it all over again, as many times as it takes, until you're an expert some year. So we'll pause while we're doing that. YouTube, it's Brad Phillips still. The last time we left you, it was dark and very cold. And today there's still snow, also known as icebergs, in the front yard. You can see I've got my bundle of joy here. I've been kiting for the last half an hour. But as you can see from the windsock, when you want it to be windy, it's limp. And when you want it to be hard, it's also, I don't know. It's just, it's frustrating because the weather has to cooperate for this sport. This is what we're learning. So I want to show you a couple of things that I'm doing, and you can tell me if I'm doing it wrong in the comments below, because I'm probably doing it wrong. So these are the brakes. I'm practicing keeping the magnets in the right spot because there's no magnets here and there is magnets here. It'd be kind of cool if there's a magnet on both sides. And I'm going in for reverse launch with low wind, which is sort of stupid. Normally you would forward launch in that condition. But when I started, it was windier. So as soon as the wind picks up, I'm going to take it. But basically, I'm pulling these off and I'm grabbing my brakes. So if you want to give them a vantage point from like where my head is, like over here, and then hold that in front of my face, so it's like pointed down. What I'm doing is I'm grabbing this. My lines aren't cleared, but they are, because I've already done this a bunch of times, and I just walk back and put it in a bundle. Normally I would spread that out, but since I'm waiting for my camera crew to get out here, I said I'll just wait a second and then I'll try to wall it. So what I've been doing at training was I was crossing a certain way, and I can't remember what way I was crossing, which is really frustrating for me because I struggled with that. But since I'm doing this and I'm keeping this hand ready for the trigger, normally I think I do it this way, like this, when I have my trigger in my hand for the throttle. But I'm gonna just use both hands. And then I've been grabbing the D lines, so the brakes, and then the D lines so I can wall it. So the camera crew, when I get ready to go, I'm gonna walk back and just kind of wall this, which is a little bit hard on the wing from what I understand. She's gonna go over to the sidewalk, so she's totally out of the way. And I'm gonna walk back and try to wall this. And as you can see, it is like dead calm all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. So I was checking for manned aircraft, not like I'm gonna take off, but I don't want to scare them either. So I'm going to basically hold this way up because I really want to try to get it to inflate with almost no wind. So I'm going to basically try to force it into the air. Once it's up, I'm going to have to go back at like 4, 5, 6 miles an hour backward. Here's some wind. Leaning heavy. And as you can see, I don't quite have enough. I was going to try to get that up. And there's our friend up there. So I'm going to try to do this quick again. Basically, as you can see, there's just like no wind indication. So I'm going to pull back on this, and I'm not going to pull this. That would be to deflate, and this would be to inflate, okay? I want to stay away from the power lines, but I have to keep working into the wind or the wing won't fly. So I got probably one more shot at this, and then I'll have to reset, which is fine because it's good practice, unless I'm practicing wrong. See the wind indicator? I'm kind of not lined up perfect. Hard on the wing, but I'm going to do that anyway. So, I'm going to stow my brakes, then I'm going to just basically put these together, and I'm going to get this, wrap it up, and then I have to reset. But this is one of the realities of paragliding, or power paragliding, that befalls everybody, is that you want the weather to do a certain thing, just like with radio controlled aircraft, and it refuses. Now you'll note that I brought this out into the tall grass because back here it's muddy. So the camera crew is hopefully being careful about that. Mm-hmm. I am not, because I really can't afford to be careful about mud. So I'm gonna just walk it back, and this is what I try to do. I could probably pedal it up a little bit more, but in this case, with the winds light, I'm a lot less scared. Which sounds stupid, but the reality is, This giant death trap here that I'm using is pretty dang scary. I'm attached to it. You could pull my entire pickup truck with this thing and it would not break. Well, you could for sure pull it. I don't know if you could lift it, but it's incredibly strong. Okay, I'm gonna hurry up and get in position because I'm feeling some wind. Okay. A little bit of a cravat there. Trying to avoid a puddle. That's why I was so hurried about that. Okay, I let go of the A's too early and the wind died. I didn't keep enough ground speed to keep things inflated. Plus, I didn't have my lines cleared. If I would have set myself up for success, that would have gone better. But if I would have set myself up for success, I would have missed the wind. So it's a double-edged sword. I can see the wind. There's just a little bit of it, so I'm gonna just try again. Normally, what I would do is I would center that A for adventure right there. And the wing would be pulled over toward the edge of the driveway. So I get a better shot at it. Since I'm fighting wind, that'd be especially doubly important. But we got puddles and crap everywhere. I'm trying to avoid getting the wing wet because you don't store them wet. So let's try this. I feel wind. Yeah, baby. On the driveway. So even though that was not a very successful launch, I'm still building my confidence every time I do it. Because I'm able to get it up in the air, helps me to feel more comfortable. But what I really need is I need to go to my back lot where we have 20 some odd acres opened up. And I need to do that. Do not come out in the mud.
I'm not. Nope.
I'm pretty close to those power lines, so I got to stow and come back. So this is just part of it. Try to land your wings so that if you're going forward, it'll be behind you. But if you're going backward, you want it so it's pointed up. Reverse launch is really nice when you're new because you can see what's happening better, I think. And when you can see what's happening, you can diagnose what's happening easier. Problem is, there's just not enough wind to help launch the wing. And since I'm not putting any power to it, it's just my human strength. And even though I'm a strong guy, there's only so much I can do. But look at how much further we've come. Camera crew knows, because she's seen me fail a lot. And I'm not just talking about this.
Yeah, it looks way better today.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit. I've seen while I was cleaning up.
I think I have my lines crossed backward too. And I also feel a lot better about it. I'm gonna lay it down about here, I think.
Okay.
It's really nice being able to do it on the runway, but it's actually bad to do it on the runway because it's more abrasion on the actual relatively thin fabric. That's a ripstop fabric, but it's actually thinner on the bottom than it is on the top. And I'm trying to be very pointing about having that magnet the right way.
Yeah.
I think I want them so I can stow them. You got to remember that's going to be up here when you're flying. You're going to stow it like this. So I want that there.
I'm going to go on this side of you for better lighting.
Okay.
And to be able to get out of your way when you go.
That's great. Thank you. The other thing too is our normal filming method is totally upset doing this because we don't film this way. Go back about 10 steps. I'm going to try to wall it because I feel a little bit of wind.
Okay.
You see my lines aren't clean at all? But watch this. Got walled up, but I wasted about 10 feet doing that. So I've been somewhat reluctant to do that. Okay, here's some wind. Here's some wind. Walk right, step right. There it is. Up. Get out of the mud, Ryan. I don't mind being in the mud, but I don't want the wing in the mud.
Right.
So, but I can launch again from here. So I'm going to step toward and loosen my lines. I'm grabbing the bottom lines so that if I need to wall it, I can. I'm trying to build good habits for safety, and I'm a chicken. And so you can probably see me doing like 4 things wrong right here. There it is. That's up. That's totally up. Look at that, hon.
That looks good.
No brakes. No brakes. No brakes. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
There it goes. I'm going to lose it. So now that kind of sucks because it's upside down. And I twisted the wrong way. So I'm going to go under. And that was not the right way to do it. So now I need to go. This is what happens. This is the reality of paragliding when you don't have help.
Yeah.
You're new. I'm not supposed to step over them because I'm going to be twisted, but I'm going to do it anyway. See? Watch. Now, my parachute's going into the ground now. Also, not called a parachute. So anyway, part of the reason for this video series is to teach you just how much you need training. And I had training, and I still suck this bad. So imagine how terrible it would have been. You don't even have to imagine. You saw me trying. I couldn't even inflate the wing.
Yeah.
So I have to unclip now because I foobarred that so bad. And then I got to flip that wing over. Now, see this? See how there's a tangle on it? Whoop. Now it's not tangled, but it's upside down because it's going into the ground. See this? This one's tangled, I think, too. And so now that I got them in the right orientation, I can put my risers side by side. And then I can grab this. Hold on. I can grab this. There we go. And I can walk it back. Now these lines are Kevlar coated in a cotton sheath around the outside. So make no mistake, you don't want to be tangled in them, ever. You don't even want to have to cut them to save your life because they're going to be hard to cut. So I'm going to avoid getting in a situation where that happens. And hopefully I never do have that problem. Okay, so I know what direction this wing needs to go. So now I can go walk and put it in upside down and then run the risers on the other side. See our helper?
She's super helpful. That's like super impressive when you like get it up like that. Sorry, there's no other way to say it. It was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now this is going to be tangled. I already know, but my risers are not tangled.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Should be going the right way, but I have to untangle my lines and I have to clear the A's, which I already did off camera earlier while the camera crew was cleaning up after lunch, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so because it's not windy, I'm clipping in. It's just going to give me one extra hand to work with.
Okay.
Okay? So now I'm going to grab the A's. And you can see they're all tangled up. I'm going to just throw caution to the wind here and see if I can get the thing to come up for me. I'm just grabbing my brakes. And I'm going to grab the D's together. You see how they're lined up like that? I'm going to try to wall it. Ooh, that was terrible. Okay, so I got to unhook or this ain't going to work. So I'm going to unhook one line. Stow the brake. Lay it aside. Stow the brake. I should have probably stowed the brake first. And I should have thrown them forward. It's amazing all the things you realize what you're doing wrong as you get better with this. And I'm still terrible. So, as you can see, the wing has still managed to be upside down. How is that even possible? Why is that, camera crew? Oh, it's not.
No, it's not actually. There you go.
There we go. So you're supposed to do this every time. So if you're watching this, Mike Fixer, I apologize.
He's been doing it every time, we promise.
Yeah, Teresa, I did that every other time. It's just not the times you saw it on the video. So you'll note it's not in a nice curve, so it's going to work terrible. And with light wind, you need to take every advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a difference between launching for kiting, in my opinion, and launching to fly. And the difference is, one, you're going to have more stuff on your body, and two, you're going to have your motor and stuff on your back, so you got to be careful. You don't tangle stuff. Okay, so, man, that brake line always throws me off. Whoops, because I grabbed the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, so you can see over here so that your shadow, thank you. Yeah, I actually didn't have it wrong. See, just these two lines, they're up on top. See this? It's actually free. So that one's clear. So A lines, B lines, C lines, and D lines, okay? So then I can walk it up like this. But except I was stepping on it. See, I did it again, guys. See how easy it is to screw up? It is so much easier to fail than it is to have success in this sport. I gotta say, it's just like radio-controlled airplanes. Okay, so I've got that with the handle out, so I know it's done. I'm gonna grab this. Remember, this is not training. This does not constitute training. But when you see the likes of Tucker Gott up there, and he goes and makes a launch, he makes it look easy. He's been doing it a long time. He's very good. He's very skilled. Okay, I am not. I suck. I'd probably get hurt if I tried to do this on my own right now. And that's why I'm not gonna do it on my own. I'm gonna kite on my own, and then I'm gonna get help when I'm ready to do it on my own. Or when I believe I'm ready. Then I'm gonna have a more experienced person helping me for that day. And then hopefully I'll build some more skill. And then maybe I can do an actual solo. But we'll see. For now, I'm just gonna keep doing this. Now, I've also seen some guys that are really, really skilled, and they will do this unclipped, and they will kite with the thing unclipped, and they just hang on, and then they use a weight shift also to actually control the wing. I have a lot of respect for those people. I don't have that skill yet, obviously. Okay, so these lines are not twisted yet, so I have to twist it, and you see it didn't twist worth a crap, right? Because I'm too far back. Okay, see, now I can work on the lines. I already cleared all the brakes. Okay, now I flip it over and I clip in. That's why you want to keep that wing the right direction. And look how dead calm the wind is. There is no wind.
No.
I probably won't be able to get this up again. Okay, now I want to have my A lines. The A lines are on the bottom. Okay, and that's not exactly the way I want it, but that's okay because I'm going to have them going forward when I launch. They're going to actually go in front of the wing. Okay, so I have the A lines at the back of the stack, but it doesn't matter because it's on the ground. Okay, and you see how one's on top of the other? There's a trick, and what you do is you basically take the A lines. And I still can't remember the trick. I'm trying to remember the trick. But you do that, or something like that, and I'm doing it wrong. So I gotta figure it out, but for now I'm gonna do this until I figure it out. Because all these little things, they do actually, believe it or not, they do add up to a certain level of muscle memory. Okay, you need to be back. You good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. See, I'm having to produce 100% of the speed.
Right.
And that is why I'm probably done today. So I guess that just means I'll have to wait for a windier day.
Which is crazy.
I know. It's a lot less scarier to try to kite when the wind is low, but it's a lot harder to kite when the wind is low.
But I feel like every time you do it, even if it's a little bit, you're building confidence. Right?
As long as I'm not building the wrong confidence.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I know I'm doing a few things wrong. And it's making life more difficult. I want to try one more. I feel like the wind's coming that way now. I want to see if I can get one more.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to go, but I'm going to try it anyway. So there you have it, guys. Now that I got it all upside down and backward, but I'm out of the wet.
Yep.
There's basically a ditch along the driveway and it gets wet. So I'm gonna untangle these lines the easiest way possible. That's hard on your system, so don't do that unless you have to. And then I'm gonna stick this. I'm gonna stick the risers together in my clip-in points. Like that. Okay? That's gonna help me to not accidentally tangle them.
Oh.
Okay? I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna basically just put it all together. And then when I get back to the end, then I can go ahead and flip it around without hardly any effort. So, I guess we could show them putting it away. It's kind of a boring thing, guys, but nobody ever shows you the boring. They always show you the fun. They always show you the exciting.
We show you all of the boring.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's one of our specialties.
So we do.
So we show the whole story, not just the highlights. Because, like, look at that. How could that not be a giant tangle? Well, I'm telling you, when I get it back over here, it's not going to be a giant tangle.
Yep.
That's one of the first things you learn when you start working with this equipment. You think there's no way that's not going to be a giant tangle. It's just not. It's weird. And by the way, when there's 10-mile-an-hour wind and you're kiting, you're going to be scared. It is scary. See that?
Yep.
That's one problem I've had. No, I'm still hooked. There's one more.
No.
There's not? Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
Yep.
So now, I have to untangle this wing. Because that's one thing you always want to do. Put away your equipment right, and it'll make your life so much easier. I can see the A, so I know we're good. It doesn't even need to be any better than this, in my opinion. You could make it better, but I'm not gonna.
Right.
And then you see this? I'll show you exactly what I do to put my equipment away. And you're like, but Brian, you're gonna tangle that up. It's very evident you haven't paraglided before, because as much as I want to think that, and I did, you won't. It's very strange. As long as you don't go under the handles, the risers, then you won't tangle it, okay? One thing too, my trainer's equipment was so much smaller than mine. I think she thought I could, like, magically. See this bag? Show up on the ground. See that?
Yep.
Okay, now look at this. I got it in my pocket. There's a little teeny bit of mud on this, but it's not anything too crazy.
Yeah, it didn't look bad.
I got one of these pieces of Velcro. Even mine's ripped, so it doesn't really matter. I was just gonna say, my trainer thought I could tuttle this whole thing, and I'm like, that is huge. It's 31 meters. Hers is like 18. There's just a lot more material. Okay, so you see this? All I'm doing is just kind of taking them, putting them in a nice loop. I could have done this probably a little easier off camera, to be honest. All I'm doing is just getting it to a point where it's super easy to grab out. Okay? And that's close enough for me. Then I'm just going to take this Velcro and hook around. And that's it. Now, I laid this on top of this bag, okay? There is a special bag for the risers in mine. Now, I don't know if yours is gonna have this, but it says right here, risers. Hold on a sec. I wanna take off my helmet. Safe to have your helmet off at this point, camera crew, and glasses. But this little riser bag gives you a place to put that. Now, depending on how I put this away, this is called a stuff sack, by the way. Sometimes it's easier, in my opinion, to try to use the stuff sack first and then put the risers in last. It just depends on what you feel is appropriate. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this first. There is a proper way to fold these, and there's an improper way to fold this. This is probably considered to be the improper way of folding it. You're supposed to close all these like this. My understanding is that it's kind of a debate, and the people that do it are super anal retentive, which is weird because I should be that person. Okay. And just grab, whoops. And just start stuffing it. And then if you give them a shot from the side, they can maybe see what I'm doing here. Just a little bit at a time. And you can see, I probably spent a good, what, 10 minutes putting this away?
Maybe. Not very long.
But I want to show you guys just how small it is in our garage. You may have already seen it in the other videos, but that is a big factor for a lot of you.
Yeah.
You may not have a big acreage. You may not have a lot of storage space. I mean, we have an acreage and we don't have storage space.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at our garage. It's full of 3 main vehicles and then a quarter of a vehicle with our zero turn.
Yep.
And we need a side-by-side so we can get around. So someday we'll have one, but right now, there's nowhere to park
Nowhere
it.
to put it.
I don't want to park it outside. Okay, so the risers are in the bag. Won't get tangled because it can't. And that's one way to do it. And it's just air. You're not going to hurt it. I thought I was at first. I was wrong, like I am on most things. So there you have it. Then I've got a couple clips here. Now, admittedly, if you're going to store this, if you're going to overwinter this, the nicest thing you could do to your parachute would be to open it in a dark, cool place. Cool, dry. Dark, cool, dry. Okay? Once the air's out of it, it doesn't really come back in. It's almost a little bit like a check valve. Not totally, but mostly. Okay? So then, oh, there's a pull string on that bag. I forgot about that. My pull string broke the first day I used it. That kind of pissed me off. See? That just pulls the slack. Okay? And then guess what? This whole thing, right there, it's a backpack too. Okay? So you can put that on your back if you want. It's kind of annoying it doesn't have a handle here. So then, we'll simulate like you were out in the truck. Get out of here. 2 clips here, and a clip here. Out of the harness. Just as easy as that. Now you can see I'm all sweaty. Because honestly, I don't care if you're skinny or fat, you're gonna get a workout doing this. And if you do it and you're not sweaty, it's not warm. Because this, look, we still got glacial freezers over here.
I know.
You know? So then helmet, in you go. And look at this, guys. I'm going to show you the entire storage requirement of this entire hobby. Oh, I have a new helmet too. Let me grab that. Here's the new helmet. This is the real helmet. Didn't wear that today, obviously, because I didn't need it. I'm just kiting. So that's going to go in there. So hopefully that still fits. I just want you guys to see. Hopefully that fits now. That'd be kind of a bummer for me. If it doesn't, I can put it in there.
Okay.
And yes, I did get all these backpacks with my adventure paramotors gear. I don't know if you're going to necessarily get that with yours. If you want to go where I went for training, you can hit up Mike Mixer at flyppg.com, and Discovery PPG is what the business name, but see this? I can relax that a little bit. And then I can relax this a little bit. I didn't have that big helmet in there before.
Yeah, it's gonna fit though.
But the whole idea, guys, I got a spare prop in here. I got every tool I need to break down the entire paramotor and work on it, really. Except for maybe side cutters and zip ties. We got to get those in there.
Oh, okay.
But I have all that stuff. I have oil, enough to mix up 15 gallons. I already have 5 gallons with me. This one does have a handle, and it does have good straps like this. So let's just show you how big a storage space you need. Okay. So that's the way I'm doing it, right there. Yes, that's a dining room table, in case you're wondering. Okay. That's a little bit more awkward with that helmet in there. But there you have it, guys. So this is the paramotor. Woo! Right there. It happens to be clamped down to this. That's the fuel. That's it. So this whole thing, let's call that conservatively 8 feet, 3 feet deep. So what is that, like 16 square feet? And that could go on the ground if you wanted. We just choose not to. That is incredibly small storage space. What aircraft do you have in your garage, manned aircraft, that fits in 16 square feet? The airplane I have is 16 feet long. And that's a pretty small airplane. And it's, even with the wings taken off, I think it's still 8 feet wide. So it takes up the size of a full-size car. And then some, because the tail is big. So if you get a manned aircraft that's any smaller than that, I want to know about it. So without further ado, guys, this PPG experience has been super rewarding, super scary, super fun, super hard, and challenging, same thing. It's been relatively expensive, but still cheap in the grand order of flight. With about $16,000 all in brand new equipment, by the way, including training, including overnight stays, lodging, travel, everything. I mean, like literally that's what, you know, the IRS will hear about. So if you want to get into a sport that is similarly safe to riding a motorcycle, I know that's not like as safe as knitting, but it's no more dangerous statistically. And so long as you can keep from like walking into your prop, having the motor flip over on its belly and then falling into it, you've just eliminated 45% of the serious injuries and deaths. And if you can stop from flying over water without flotation, you'll take out pretty much another 40% of the deaths and serious injuries that happen. So if you're looking for a relatively safe sport, I'm not saying it's totally safe. People do get hurt and people do get killed doing this. Powered paragliding might be for you. So I say that all because when you watch Brian Phillips RC, I don't know if you come for the PPG stuff, but when we give you guys an analysis of our experience with stuff, we try to be as inclusive as possible. And it's going to be cool because I'm going to be able to go back in like 6 or 7 years when I'm good at this and say, man, I sucked bad. Or, man, I had some good ideas that I screwed up. Or, man, I really needed more training. Or, man, you know, so hopefully it's all, you know, good things. But I look back when I'm flying radio-controlled airplanes and I think, look how far I've come in such a short time. So I kind of close with this a lot in our videos lately. And it has to do with kind of like the metamorphosis that I'm going through myself with all of this. And that is, if you want to start flying, if you want to start doing radio-controlled airplanes, if you want to start doing, you know, whatever it is, if you want to learn a new skill, don't wait until tomorrow to start your journey. You're just pissing away time. Honestly, start today. Make a list. Check it twice. Talk to people that have done it before you. Get a mentor. Look on YouTube. Follow along with somebody like me. I mean, I'm not saying you should do this if you don't want to do it by any means, especially not this, because you could die doing it. But you could die, driving your car to work tomorrow. You could get plowed by a combine out in the field tomorrow. I don't know. It just depends on what you do. You could fall off of a skyscraper. There's a million ways to die, and 100% of us die, but not 100% of us live. And that's my encouragement to you today, is figure out what it is that you're looking for and start doing it. So, because this is going to be really cool, and I guarantee if I waited until today to start, I'd be 6 months behind, or however long it's been, 3.5 months, 2.5 months behind. Mm-hmm. Well, probably more like 8 months behind, because I spent about 6 months doing research before I actually started. And by the way, step one for me was research. A lot of research and a lot of working with my wife to figure out if we could tolerate the risk.
Yep.
So, because there are real risks. Granted, I still feel like they're manageable risks. And I mean, you see me out here kiting, there's power lines out there. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to keep going until I hit the power lines. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to be an adult and use judgment. And some of you would say, well, you're not using judgment because there's power lines close. Yes, I can see that some people have different safety, mindsets and different rationales that they use to gauge how safe a project is. And so we're all going to kind of be on a different part of the spectrum. But I just need you guys to understand something. Even if you feel that that's unsafe, then you can do it more safe when you do it. Or you can do it less safe if you're more crazy. So whatever the case is, my encouragement to you is whatever it is you're doing, get on it. Do it. Because there's nothing stopping you except for you. So that's all you get for today. Brian Phillips signing out. Stay tuned. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you like the footage, if you like the content, if you want to get training where I went to training, Adventure Ppg, Adventure is the equipment I got. But if you go to flyppg.com, I went out to a place in Quincy, Illinois, which is, 3-hour drive for me, 3.5-hour drive for me. And I went to train for a week, and it was in December. And the weather was terrible and great for being December. I probably couldn't do that in January. Probably couldn't do that in February. But the thing is, in March, you're getting close. Depending on the weather, depending on how squishy the soil is. You saw me out there. I slipped a number of times just in the mud. So it was very weather dependent, very seasonally dependent. But I am going to work it out because that's what I wanted to do. And you should too. So definitely check the links in the video description below. If you want the very first step I recommend, it is the Ppg Bible version 6. And we have a link to it that will be in the video description below. It's just an easy way for you to start doing research and look at it from a more educated perspective. And the more educated you are, the better you're going to make decisions. So that I did not have that when I started. I wish I would have, because it was like 30 or 40 bucks or 50 bucks, or I don't know. It's going to vary depending on when you get it on Amazon. Yep. But it is one of the great places to start if you're looking to do this. And hit me up if you have questions. I'll try my best to help you, but you got to remember I'm a novice. I'm still learning. I know enough to be a lot more dangerous than I did before, but I also know a lot more to be safe too. So now it's just up to me whether I'm going to be safe or dangerous. So stay tuned. Appreciate you guys. Oh, don't forget PayPal, Patreon, if you want to support us. Also, we have lots of plane links for the radio-controlled airplanes. That is how you fund our channel. That is what we do to run this thing. So if you want to help support us and you don't want to send us money on PayPal or Patreon, we totally get it. Just find something you like. Even that PPG book, it'll be a little pat on the back for us. All of the affiliated companies we work with help to fund us indirectly through your purchases, and you guys don't pay any extra, so it's a great deal for you. It's a great deal for us. And then, of course, we bring you more content. So keep doing that, and we'll keep doing this. Come back for more. Oh, yeah. There it is. Nice. Not enough wind. Come on now, wind. I turned it the wrong way, hon.
Oh.
See that?
Yeah.
Actually had it flying.
Yeah, it was good.
So
Okay.
There we go. Nice. See the tangle on this green line? That one.
Oh.
I want to try to fix it. I might have cleared it already. This one here is tangled up a little teeny bit.
Okay.
Are you still filming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There's not enough wind, man.
Yeah.
There we go. Come on. There we go. Now we've got some power. I'm actually able to hold it up. That's nice. Right there, hon.
Yep. That's good.
That's really, really good wind. I need to start recovering those. Nice. Way better.
Mm-hmm.
Way better. Maybe there's just better wind here, hon.
The wind is like a lot different when you're at the edge of the hill.
I know.
That's crazy.
It's like a lot more directional. Trying to flatten it out so I don't have to fight it again.
Yeah.
I'll reset my lines with the wind. See, like this. It's kind of hard on them, but whatever. Otherwise, I'm gonna be all worn out. Won't be able to do anything. There we go. Nice and walled out. The wind direction is definitely different up here.
It is. Not as favorable up here.
Yep. There we go. See how powerful that is when you
Yeah.
get it right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about it. It's working. You can't stop it. Gotta keep it moving. Gotta keep it moving. Come on. Come on. Yeah, baby. There it is. Of course, there's like the juice fest over here.
Oh, of course.
Gotta wait for the wind a little bit. It feels like it's dying down. But then you look at the sock and it's pretty much out.
Mm-hmm.
See that cravat there?
Yep.
I could launch with that cravat. But instead I'm gonna try to wall it out of it. There we go. And then back down you go. Nice. Nice. Oh yeah, that's some good wind right there. Woo! There it is. Get it up in the air. Get it working, Brian. There you go. Nice. There we go.
Right.
See, I move my body and I can tuck my back end into it. Just warn me if I get close to the power line.
Okay.
No, I'm paying attention. See, watch this. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Depowers the wing. See how I grab those blue wires?
Yeah.
Blue lines?
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to do that stuff because that's what makes me scared.
Is not being able to do it?
Whoa. That cravat caused that, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a cravat over there again. See that schmutz in the line on that red line? That's my brake lines. There we go. See, when you're on the ground, you're completely at the mercy of the wind in terms of where you go. Well, not completely, but largely. Watch this. Come on. See, when you jump, you depower the wing. When you sit, see how I give it power?
Mm-hmm.
It's because I'm pulling on it evenly. Pretty cool. I just like being backward better. Oh, I have my brake line backward. That helps. It's just cool when you get it up there and you're just able to control it.
I feel like you're figuring out so much more when you have a longer time to have it up in the air.
Yep, absolutely.
It looks super cool.
Oh, she's getting away from me. I don't want to chase. Now, as quick as it went down, get back up. Cravats and all. Those called dog ears, by the way. I didn't mean to do that. Where they fold over at the end. I think my lines might be twisted a little bit. Okay, here we go. Yeah. There it is. Good. Good. There it is. It's overshooting me a little bit now. You ready to try yet, Megan?
You're funny.
See, watch. This is twisted, I think, half a twist. There we go. Go ahead and move, actually. Terrible. There we go. Now it's nice and straight. Should be a lot easier inflation. Seems like every time you do it, you get a little bit better. I'm still pretty terrible. There it is, guys. Go down, get into it, Ryan. There you go. You gotta keep it up. There it is. Losing my wind. Probably a little too close to the power lines to launch.
Yeah, probably.
If there was a bunch of wind, I could launch here all day.
Yeah.
Or if the power lines were gone,
Yep.
I could cut all this crap down and just.
Keep going.
Yep. I'm gonna try one more probably.
Okay.
Right here. I don't think I got enough room to get it all the way.
Okay.
I could get it if I was better, but I'm not. So let's go down down there where it's safe.
Okay.
I wasn't listening that day, I promise. Come on, get inflated. I gave you that pill. That's why it's better to go over on the hill.
The wind is just really variable still.
Yeah. I blame the wind. It's not anything to do with my lack of skill at all. It's totally the wind's fault.
Yep.
Mother Nature, or as I like to call her. Can't say that on TV. So, as you guys watch me struggle from complete and utter lack of success, and someday hopefully have a high level of success, you can watch me and say, someday I want to be like that guy. And hopefully it's not like some obituary clip or something terrible. But if it was, at least I enjoyed my trip to the other side. Speaking of the other side, we should go to the other side and see if we can do this over there.
Okay.
You want to go take a couple clips over there?
I suppose.
Okay.
Here you go.
See, it's weird, isn't it?
That is weird.
There we go. Come on now. Catch it, catch it. Catch it. Give it your weight. Just lost all my wind.
Yep.
Dropped like a rock. I wonder if it's just the crest of the hill.
Mm-hmm. I think it is.
In here if it goes. Because I'm curious if it will.
I'm gonna.
Light wind.
I'm staying right here by this marker.
Oh yeah, there she is. Dang it. Flipped it over.
Yep.
Alright. Start for the show. I'm going back up top. You can stop.
Okay.
Okay, so I gotta flip this over. Kind of pull that one out. Drop my lines. Whoa. Caught on something. Sometimes that happens when you're walking. You gotta be careful. Okay. Grab your brakes. Grab your A's. Obviously nice and tangled up. That's the way I like to do it. I grab these just in case I need to keep power. On it. And then you can either wait or just give her hell. Not enough wind. Come on now. At least it's lined up nice for me.
Yep.
And then we can just wait a few minutes. The other thing you can do is you can get a little bit closer to your parachute, or to your wing, sorry. And then some people will run into it. I don't really like that, but it seems hard on everything.
Hmm.
Just gentle. Let it do what it does. Got to keep it moving at 6 miles an hour. A little bit of brake pressure will keep it up there, but not forever. If I was trying to launch,
Yeah, a little bit.
I wasn't exactly flying. Was that Mother Nature telling you to let the cheeseburgers?
Maybe.
Or maybe Mother Nature is smacking me down saying, go fly radar controlled airplanes.
Right.
Let's see if I can get it up here if this wind cooperates here.
Okay.
There's a little bit of wind right now. Nope, not enough. Not even close. It's crazy how obvious it is.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're thinking about getting into this habit, I mean, there's definitely cheaper ways to kill yourself, but I'm going to try not to do that. This equipment is a little bit more expensive when it's new, obviously, but so far so good. I haven't died just quite yet. That would be a good launch spot. If I have an engine out, I got lots of room to slam to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take those poles out so I don't get impaled on them.
Yeah.
Because we own that part now too. But at the end of the day, the wind says whether or not this works good. Now you have to also remember that when you've got a 25 horsepower engine or whatever it is, mine is 180 horsepower or 180 cc. Excuse me. Excuse me. But the 185 or 180 cc motor is a lot bigger than the 90 that a lot of the other people are using. But those supposedly put out like 22 or 23 horsepower, which is crazy for an engine that's this big. I mean, the exhaust is a lot bigger than the engine itself. So I've always thought that was pretty incredible. So if you guys decide to get into PPG powered paragliding, I would highly recommend that you do lots of research. Take, a couple of weeks at least. Figure out who lives close and if they're worth going to, or if you'd rather spend some money and go to a school that's a little bit bigger, maybe. Just depends on where you are. But for me, I had looked at schools in Florida, we're in Iowa, Ohio, Minnesota, Nebraska, Illinois, and Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss any?
I think that's all of them.
I think that's all of them.
Yep.
I started in Florida. I was really happy with them, but I just could not get it to work in our schedule. Okay. And they wanted 7 to 11 days. And I'm like, that's so long to be away from family and away from other responsibilities like YouTube and my day job and things like that. So I said, no, can't do that. And then I had narrowed it down to a guy in Minnesota. Seemed like it'd be a really good fit for me, but then he was still 6.5 hours drive away. And so I ended up between that and an Indiana group, which looked really good. And so I was very tempted there. And then I remembered I had a recommendation firsthand from a guy that I know that I'll probably end up flying with soon here in central Iowa. And the recommendation was to go to flyppg.com, which is Discovery PPG is the name of their company, but they have flyppg.com. And to work with Mike Mixer. And in this case, I worked with Teresa was my trainer. So she helped teach me how to get where I am. And believe me, it doesn't look hard at all when you watch it on TV. When you watch it on camera, it's like, what's such a big deal? I mean, you just like pull on the thing and it just does the thing, Like how hard could it be? Yeah. Just like Olympic runners, I can run too, just not quite as fast. So it's a lot harder than it looks. It's more dangerous than you might think. But also by the time you put everything together, you got proper training. I've been told it's similar to motorcycles. So, I mean, motorcycles are not without risk. You do wear helmets on motorcycles too. So I feel some wind. I almost feel like we should try to launch again, but I feel like we're going to be getting rotor off of these. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be blocking a lot of wind. Show them the people.
Yep.
So maybe that's why we're losing our wind, because it's just not that strong. If it was really strong, we'd still have wind here.
Yeah.
And that's honestly been one of our thoughts when we've been thinking of how we're going to develop this property, and putting in a pond here would give us a nice clean area for air to come through and I could launch. But then of course you've got the risk of drowning, which by the way constitutes pretty close to half of the deaths that happen in this sport. So if you're going to fly over water or near water, over rivers, river basins, things like that, get a flotation device. They can help you with that. At any of the reputable shops have them, and $300-400 will save your life. So, but just follow training procedures too, and unbuckle when you're going over the water, and you'll be fine. So that being said, also when you're starting your motor, don't start it with it on the ground. Make sure it's on your back. And that's like almost another half of the injuries, serious injuries and fatalities that happen. So if you're seriously investigating this hobby, look into what happened to people before, try to avoid it. And then some of the injuries happen from asymmetric stalls. So flying the right conditions. And so if you can avoid doing this at the wrong time, at the wrong place, then it's a very safe thing to do. So anyway, that's all I've got to say. I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me, because this is a cool thing, but it's also very hard. A lot harder than I thought when I started. But so was radio controlled airplanes, and so is being married, and so is having a day job and not, you know, sucking at life. There's a lot of things in life that are hard. You get to pick what's hard in your life. So in my case, I'm gonna choose this. This will be on top of a stack of other things that are probably unnecessary, but really add the spice to life. Correct, camera crew?
Sure.
So anyway, hopefully that helps you guys to kind of sort through some of the thoughts in your mind when you're looking into PPG as a possibility. And no, we're not just gonna show you cool rips like some of our competitors on YouTube that have much, much huger followings and are much more skilled. But at some point in my PPG career, I hope to rip something other than a hamstring for you. So for now, stay tuned. It'll be a while. Hi YouTube, more practice. Just gonna show you the progress. Just walked up the driveway. I got everything cleared already. Took me about 10 minutes maybe, right?
Yeah, if that.
And you go. Okay. And it's up. So cool. It's getting a lot quicker.
That was good.
Up again right away. I gotta get reset.
Okay, so Brian's gonna try and kind of wall it out here and get it lined up.
Because I tripped. I was just getting too close to those power lines, and it was blowing that way.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't want to get too dangerously close, you know? So I gotta walk all the way over by that hay. So, it seems totally crazy, but look at my right hand. See all that wire?
Mm-hmm.
That's, you just kind of bring it up in your hand like that, and then I'll show you how quick it cannot be tangled. Sometimes it is, but generally it's not. It gets so much more intense over here.
Yeah.
And it's in a different direction. There we go. Gosh, it overshot me like crazy. Woo!
It's a lot windier.
It
On
changed the direction a lot.
Yeah.
Here. It starts going this way instead of going that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we lost our lift, right there, where the two converged.
Yep.
I don't know if I can get this back up without walking it out, but I'm going to try it.
Okay.
I think it's upside down. Yes. I can probably do it now. Nice, nice.
Good job.
There it is. Beautiful. Effortless. That's why it's falling. It's so different. You know, from here it's that way. From up there it's that way.
Yeah.
And watch, it feels like nothing, but I can launch it. Watch this. Got it. It's getting so much more easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like every time I do it, it gets about twice as easy.
Yep.
I wonder if I should reset up to the top of the hill. What do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah. Why don't I do that again?
Okay.
What if the wind just isn't quite as intense over here? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a real hard time getting it to go.
Hey.
Felt like over there,
Yeah.
the wind had shifted, but maybe just the wind in general had shifted a little bit. There's some wind. I gotta come back towards you guys. Yeah, not enough to keep it inflated.
Mm-mm.
Just deflating every time.
Yeah.
Well, that was well, like another 4 or 5 times up.
Yeah.
It's getting to feel more and more natural. I turned around a few times too, which is good. And you only need to be turning around and going forward for a couple of steps before you're flying. Once you're flying, it's a totally different thing.
Right.
There's some more wind.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to take it. Oh, not enough evidently.
Nope.
There it is. Oh yeah, that's not the way you like them to fall.
The direction's changing.
There we go. Just dragging it back over. There's the wind. Total different direction.
Yep.
What the heck? There it is.
There you go. Nice.
Oh man, that's pulling hard. Are you done filming?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna deal with this quick.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna try again. That one was way tangled up, so I want to try to get it untangled. I probably have my lines not quite right, but I don't like doing it by hand if I can avoid it. When it's real juicy like this, you got to be careful. You got good footing too. See, I don't even have it twisted right now. You can tell this one's all screwed up. This one's pretty good. It's clear. But then this one's tangled. And I'm hooked in wrong. See that?
Yeah, all the way around.
Whoa. That might be it right there. Yep. That might be it. Maybe one more. Looks like one more. Yeah, I think we got it now. Yeah. So now, I need to take these things and then flip them. I've seen the guys online do this, and I have never done it, but I'm gonna try it real quick. I'm gonna try to wall it without being clipped in. There's a big old tangle over there. I gotta figure out how to fix that. This side's clear. Okay, I'm gonna get this untangled. Got some decent wind finally too.
Yeah.
There we go. That was strong. Whoa, that's very strong. Nice. That was kind of crazy. Okay, ready?
Yep.
I want to see if I can control this a little better. Oh, dang it. Are you paused?
No.
Or have a huge asymmetric skull like that. Okay, it looks like that's all Mother Nature's gonna give us. So we'll take what we can get. Stay tuned.